I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we're sharing a heartwarming children's fantasy that spans three generations of love, imagination, and legacy. The name of the book, PGreenDragon, written by a terrific author. Her name is Julia Meade. What began in 1985 as the dream of her grandmother is now a fully realized story of magic, loss, healing, and hope. This enchanting tale inspires kids to dream big, make new friends, and find healing in helping others. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing this beautiful book. The links are below this interview. Julia, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. In a way, this book has three authors: your grandmother, Susan, your mother, Jazzy, if I'm saying it correctly, and you, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Tell the folks at home how it all began way back when. Is that 40 years ago in 1985? I guess it is, yeah.
Yes, it actually began as a joke that my grandmother would play on my mother and her brother. So they would be out in the house running around and she'd say, "Come look, come quick, there's a dragon in the backyard." They'd come and there'd be no dragon. And they'd say, "Mom, what are you talking about?" And she'd say, "It was just there, I promise." So she kind of created in their heads this dream of the dragon. So my mom grew up always picturing the dragon. And her mother wrote, I think, the first or maybe first two chapters, and she never picked it up again. And then in 2023, when she passed away, she asked my mother if she could continue with the story. And she did. And she called upon me to help as she was having health issues herself. And she actually wrote the entire transcript. However, she struggled with reading, writing, and editing a little bit. And I was always loved writing in school. I wrote a lot of things, but nothing ever was published. And so she asked for my help with the editing and the grammar. And together we made the story come alive.
Awesome. It's a great way to honor your mother, your grandmother, and a new generation, you. I think that's terrific. So, grandma started out, wrote a couple of pages. Your mother took it from there and basically wrote the story, and you came in and kind of fixed it up, polished it up, and made it uniquely your own as well.
Yes, she wrote kind of a rough draft, you could call it.
Mhm.
There was a lot that changed over the course of it. We had a lot of fun writing it together. We changed a couple of the characters a little bit to kind of give a bigger outreach to more people. So each of the characters in the story kind of has their own challenge that they're overcoming. And all they need is friendship to overcome those challenges. And that's really what the story is about.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think it's a great story, and the backstory to it is wonderful as well. Is your mom still with us?
She passed away on May 1st of this year.
I'm sorry. Did she get to see the finished project though before she left us?
She did. It was officially published on April 1st, and we were able to do two local book signings at our local libraries before she passed away, and they both were fairly successful.
Wonderful. Well, that's great. And it's a wonderful, lasting, loving legacy for her as well. So I think that's terrific. Tell the folks at home a little bit about the story. Also, why is it P Green Dragon instead of, any other name? Tell us about that.
The P actually doesn't stand for P like the color pea green, it stands for plain.
Mhm.
I'm not exactly sure why my mother wanted it to be that way. I don't know if that was originally how it was, but that's what she intended it to be. And he's just one solid color. That's why he's plain. He's just plain green, nothing special. And I would say an overview of the story, it's really about a little girl who has lost a friend that moved out of the country. And she just so happens to run into this dragon in her backyard who has also lost his family. So they connect on about that through that, and they go on an adventure to find his family. And along the way, they meet a lot of friends, and they both discover the power of friendship that is able to heal them in a way, and they meet a lot of new people.
So the story is basically a story of loss, right?
It's a story of loss and friendship, I would say. Sometimes all you need is support. You just need to find someone that can support you and that can help you through your own challenges. And you can overcome them sometimes just by having someone. And like I said earlier, each character in the book has somewhat of a basic problem that could be fixed. They just need that person there to support them. And they find friendship and they're all able to overcome those challenges.
Yeah. During dark times, all you really need is that one friend. If you have multiple friends, that's great, but you just have to have one person there to have your back when you're going through a tough time. It really does help, and that's a great lesson from this book. Have you envisioned this as a movie or a children's animated feature, anything like that?
My mother definitely envisioned it as a cartoon type of thing. She thought it would be best as almost a show, a series,
Mhm.
rather than a movie, which is kind of also what I'm thinking book wise, is maybe turning it into a series. She had kind of mentioned and envisioned a little bit about a next book involving Green's sister, Coral, that he is reunited with. So I might end up using that idea. I would like to, but I definitely would love to see more of this. I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think you've created a great story. I think, Hollywood is in need of great stories. So Hulu, Nickelodeon, any other streamer, Disney, here's a story that is ready to go. Are you thinking about a sequel? I know you talked a little bit about Quarrel. Have you started writing that at all?
I haven't officially started it. I kind of have just some ideas on the page right now just to think about. But I think it would be a great idea to keep P Green throughout the whole series and kind of make it like P Green's adventures almost, if that makes sense. And in
Sure.
each story, it's him and JC going on a different adventure together.
Exactly, exactly. This is a shared vision now. Your mom had a vision, your grandma had a vision, and now it's kind of a collaborative vision, but your vision is a recurring character of Green Dragon or P Green Dragon, and the different adventures he goes on. I think that would be wonderful. How long did it take you to write this?
Once my mom actually really buckled down and was focusing on writing it, I would say in total, it took us about a year and a half
Mm.
in total. We didn't get a lot of opportunities to work on it together. I'm working and we live about 40 minutes away from each other. So it was a little bit of a challenge for us to collaborate, but every time we did, it was just magical. We would come
Yeah.
up with so many ideas each time, and it just got better and better. And we had a lot of help through the publishing company as well. They worked with my mom. They were great. So
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And also is a great, life gets in the way as we get older. Jobs are busy, school is busy, and whatever it is. So it was great that you and your mom had this joint project to work on for a year and a half because it forced you to get together, forced you to collaborate, and forced you to communicate in a way you might not have normally done with mom, right? Because you're working on something together, right?
I would absolutely agree. I always knew that my mom was into writing, but I didn't realize how talented she truly was until this book. And like I said, I've always been interested in writing, was always told that I was good at it. So I really was very impressed to read her original draft of it. And it immediately made me want to get with her on the project. And especially, she asked me and called upon me to help her. And it seemed like a great opportunity for me as well. So I'm very glad that we did. We got to spend a lot of good time together. And she was so happy to see it eventually be published. It was her dream.
Wonderful, wonderful. Storytelling is absolutely in the genes in your family, without a doubt. What age group is this book intended for?
I would say around ages 5 to 8. And that it's a little challenging because there is some language in the book that is a little bit more advanced. I struggled a lot with that, with trying
Mhm.
to avoid that. It was really difficult for me, but we made it that way so that it appeals to a larger age range. So it has some more advanced language for those 8-year olds that want to read the story, but it's also a story that parents can read to their children as well. And it could also maybe aid them in learning some of that, harder language. But it definitely is kind of a mix between the two, between that 5-year-old age range and then a little bit older. So I would say around 5 to 8.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, if the child isn't familiar with some of the language, having mom or dad there to read it with them, provokes dialogue as well between the parent and child. And that's a good conversation to have with your kids as well. Um, Really, really nice work on this book. And I wish you a lot of great luck going forward as you further your writing career. And I think a lot of people will be very, very happy about that. Have you had the opportunity to share or read this book to any children yourself?
I have not. However, I do have close friends that have. I
Okay.
have a friend who has a 5-year-old younger brother, and she read it to him. And where it has the pictures as well, even though he doesn't like reading, he loved the pictures and he did listen to the story. And she said that he just lit up looking at all of the pictures and everything. So I do have a couple of sources that have told me that the kids loved it.
Great. Informed sources tell us children love it. From reading the book myself, I can tell you I'm sure children love it. Tell us about the illustrations in the book.
So the illustrations were actually not done by any of us. They were
Hmm.
done through the publishing company. However, we were able to kind of take over control on how we wanted them. So we did go through a lot of drafts until my mom had it exactly how she wanted it. She was very, very particular about it. But she really wanted the illustrations to be the way the story was brought to life, if that makes sense. So she picked the certain illustrations to go with certain pages to amplify those parts of the book, and specifically with the characters so that you can visualize what each of the characters looks like. But there's definitely a couple in the book that would be our favorite illustrations. The very last one in the book is definitely the best, but you'd have to read the book to see.
Absolutely. You'll have to buy the book, read the book to see. The illustrations are great. They really kind of reinforce the text and, really fuel the imagination as well, which I think is the goal of great writing and the goal of great art as well. The name of the
Absolutely.
book we've been talking about today is PGreenDragon. It is a magical tale of healing, hope, and the enduring power of family legacy. Julia, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time and your insight to the folks at home. I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.